So we'll continue the class with ADC. Last we had seen about ADC. This the figure shows here. The figure shows the block diagram of 8051 connection to ADC 0809. Okay. Here we have ADC 0809 8051 microcontroller and the oscillator for the oscillations, and we have here D flip-flops. So this is the interfacing of ADC with the microcontroller, and the pins, as the last class we had seen, we have pins like read, write, that is output, enable, okay, and conversion, start of conversion, we have end of conversion, and ABC are the select lines, address latch enable, and how it is connected to port 2 and port 1. Okay, from port 1 all that connections they have shown with the port 2 zeroth bit, first bit and second bit, and the D flip flop connected, it is like a memory storage that is been connected to the oscillator. So this connection is important for ADC program. Go through the textbook once. Next we'll see about the MAX 112 ADC. Okay, this is also one serial ADC chips. Okay, here MAX 112 chip is shown with 20 pins. Okay, 20 pin configuration is shown from channel 0 to channel 7. They are the channels of analog inputs. Here and ADC means analog is converted to digital, so analog inputs is shown, and MAX 112 serial ADC block diagram is also written here, where we have chip select is an active low input used to select MAX 112 chip to send the control byte. We have a control byte here. Okay, the pin configuration is shown here. ADC block diagram and chip both are important. We have S clock, that is serial clock input, is used to bring data out and send in the control byte 1 bit at a time. We have D out, D in, and we have serial strobe output, VDD, analog ground and digital ground. Both are input pins providing ground for both analog and digital signals. Shutdown is an input and is normally not connected. Okay, we don't use it. And reference voltage input, this voltage dictates the step size, how this analog is converted to digital. The sampling process will be done here. And reference out is internal reference generator output. A 1 microfarad bypass capacitor is placed between this pin and ground, analog ground. And we have a control byte. MAX 112 chip has 8 channels of analog inputs that are selected using a control byte. The control byte is fed into MAX 112 serially 1 bit at a time via D in pin with the help of S clock. The control byte must be sent in with the MSB going in first. The MSB of the control byte is high to indicate the start of the, okay, it is always kept high. It will be 1. Okay, when it is 1, what that indicates? It is the start. It is kept high and it is the start of the control byte. All about the control byte symbol is shown here. This is the MAX 1112 control byte. Start, select 2, SLE1, select pins are there 0, 1, 2. Okay, and we have unipolar and bipolar. Next we have single ended and differential. Next we have PD1, that is fully operational. Second, and it is, when it is 0, it is power down. Next, PD0 is for the conversion speed is dictated by the S clock, or the conversion speed is dictated internally. And the SSTRB pin goes high to indicate the end of conversion. So these are the pins of the MAX 1112, and this is the control byte. Okay, a start, that is D7, must be high to define the beginning of the control byte. It should always be high. This is, there are channels from 0 to 7 we have channels, so they have taken 3 select pins. Select so when all pins are 0, channel 0 is selected. Likewise, when all pins are 1, channel 7 is selected. Next we have unipolar and bipolar. If it is 1, that means digital data output is binary. If it is 0, it is in 2's complement. Okay, and this if SGL dot DIF, that is, if it is 1, it is single ended. That means 8 channels of the single ended with common as reference. If it is 0, it means it is differential. It has 2 channels. That is CH0 and CH1 are differential. In PD1, if it is 1, it is fully operational, and if it is 0, it is in power down or the power saving mode. PD 0, if it is 1, it is external clock mode, and if it is 0, it is in internal clock mode. So this is all about the control byte of MAX 1112. Next, we have 8051 connection to MAX 1112 for second channel. So this is 8051. This is our MAX 1112. Okay, and how it is connected to the ports. Okay, interfacing that is been shown. This is one of the ADC where we have reference input, reference output, analog ground, digital ground. Okay, a capacitor that is been connected, chip select, S clock, D in and D out, and this all are the channels. Channel 1 is used here. For MAX 112 control byte, for the channel 0 and channel 3, assume single-ended unipolar internal clock and fully operational modes. For first one, if you want channel 0, what should be selected? Using that control byte, you can write it. Okay, the first, that is the maximum bit, MSB should always be 1. So which are not used, keep them 0 and write the answer. 1, because to start that, the control is sending the data, this MSB should always be high. They have told you to assume single-ended unipolar internal clock and fully operational. Depending on that, you can fill the bytes here, 1 and 0 in this control byte, you will get the answer. And the second one is sending control byte to MAX 1112. Okay. So this is the chip select. So chip select should be low. Okay, when it is low, and the S clock is shown at different clocks at the rising edge of the clock. Okay, that clock is shown, and the D in is the input which we are sending. So start will be high. Next, then the select lines, then we have unipolar, bipolar, then we have a single and differential, then PD1 and PD0. Accordingly, it will be going. So the depending on the chip select, this will be used. This is the MAX 112 internal clock mode timing diagram. It is sending the control byte. Control byte will tell us which channel is selected. Accordingly, a program is written. When the last bit of the control byte PD0 is sent in, the conversion starts. Okay, conversion means what? From analog to digital conversion will start, and the end of conversion state is indicated by SSTRB. This will be used to show that it is the end of conversion. So 8-bit converted digital data is brought out of MAX 112 via D out pin. So D out pin is used to bring the data out. As we apply a negative edge plus to the S clock pin, the 8-bit digital data is read out 1 bit at a time. So in this way, this analog is converted to digital. The chip select, this is the S clock, and this is the D out. So for 1 clock signal, B7, B6, B5, 1 bit will be read out at the lower edge of the clock. This is all about the two important topics of ADC. Next, we'll go for DAC, that is the digital to analog conversion, how the digital data is converted to analog. The digital to analog converter is a device widely used to convert digital pulses to analog signals. So what are the important one here is MAC 1402 or DAC 0808. This is the important one, DAC, that is used. So what they will do here, the digital inputs are converted to current I out, and by connecting a resistor to the pin, we convert the result to voltage. The total current provided by I out pin is a function of binary numbers at from D0 to D7 inputs, and we have a reference current I reference. Okay, so I out is equal to I reference into all the bits from D7 by 2. It will be increased in powers of 2. Okay. So it will last would be D0 by 256, where D0 is a LSB. Okay, this is LSB, and D7 is the MSB for the inputs, and I reference is the input current that must be applied to the pin 14. The current is generally it is set to some 2 milliamps. Some DACs also use Zener diodes and all. Okay, that figure I'll show you. For the circuit, to find the 13.18. So this is the circuit. This is the 8051 connection DAC. This is important. 8051 from P1 to P1.7. How it is connected for the DAC 0808. So D0 to D7 pins are connected, and the output pin After passing through the op-amp, it is taken here, V out. To the oscilloscope, it will be given. Here the digital is converted to analog. That program is written here. 0 0 is sent. It is A is incremented. Okay. So in the method to generate sawtooth waveform is to increment the A register from 0 to FF. So here whatever the waveforms we give, we can generate a sinusoidal wave, we can generate a ramp wave, okay, sawtooth wave. Just sending a value, sending the value like 0 0 and it is incremented. So it will be just moving in the sawtooth waveform. That is been shown here. In two ways it is written. Compare, jump on, equal also is used, or we can just increment A. In this case, the maximum value of the digital number is FFH. Okay, the maximum it can take is the all the bits will be 1111. So how to find out I out? I out is equal to I reference into, this is the formula we have. So I reference is 2 milliamps and the maximum is 255 by 256. So it is 1.99 milliamps. So V out is nothing but 9.96 volts. That is current into resistance. The peak amplitude of sawtooth waveform is 9.96 volts. And the maximum value of the digital number is 64H. Just convert it into binary. You will get I out and V out. So this is the figure. Next, converting I out to voltage. Ideally, we connect the output pin I out to a resistor, convert this current to voltage and monitor the output. This is how they have connected here. Okay. Here the 5 kilo ohm resistor is taken and we have find out the output voltage. So this then next important is generating a sine wave. Okay, sine wave is a continuously changing wave. So we have a formula for the finding out the sine wave. Accordingly, this formula will be used for our interfacing programs also. So a table, that is like a lookup table. A table should be generated from 0 to 360 degrees sine wave to generate a sine wave. That is done. So this table is important for sine wave from 0 to 360 degree. Find out sine theta, then apply in the magnitude 5 plus 5 into 5 volts into sine theta. Okay, you'll get one value. So these values are sent to DAC. The voltage magnitude into 25.6. Okay, this is the formula. Multiply it, you'll get the values. So this value should be fed to get a sine wave. To verify the values for the 30 and 60 degree they have given, just they have put in the formula. So to find out the value sent to DAC for various angles, we simply multiply the V out voltage by 25.6 because there are 256 steps and the full scale V out is 10 volts. That is the reason we have written 25.6. So this is the program written in assembly. So in our interfacing, we write the program in C. See all the values that have been got, we'll write the values here. Okay, that values are sent here and just we'll call that values. Nearly there are 12 values, so the 12 values will be called and it will be sent to the DAC data. Okay, just writing the values are important for the sine wave. Similarly, we can generate the square wave, ramp wave, okay, in interfacing programs. So this is how the sine wave will be looking like. If you put more values, okay, if the values are completely more values are included, we'll get a clear sine wave like this. Completely new sine wave, pure sine wave will get. When the values are decreased, it will look like this. Okay, some values in the middle are missing. So this is the programming of DAC in C. Next important is like a sensor interfacing and signal conditioning. Here important concept is the transducer. What these transducers will do, transducers convert some physical data, that is temperature, light intensity, flow, speed, anything. If you want to measure temperature, light intensity, flow, that should be brought for our convenience. It should be brought to electrical or voltage. Then only we can measure them. So these transducers, what they'll do, they'll convert one form of energy to the other. So here temperature, light intensity, flow and speed are converted to electrical signals. So So depending on the transducer, the output produced is in the form of voltage, current, resistance or capacitance. So we have many types of transducers. We have inductive transducer, we have RTD, we have thermistors. Depending on that, we'll get this output. So that can be measured. By measuring this, it will be directly proportional to temperature, light intensity, flow and speed. Some temperature sensors are given here, LM34, LM34C, A, C, D and all. So important here is how the signal conditioning is done. See, from the analog world, we'll be taking temperature, pressure, whatever we get. Okay, a transducer will convert it into electrical signals, that is electrical voltage, current. Okay, that is conditioning. Conditioning means bringing it to our required form. It can be amplifying or it can be attenuation, anything. You can amplify the signal or you can attenuate the signal. In that way, the signal is conditioned. Okay, then it is after that it is in analog form only, that is converted to digital. Why digital? Because whatever the devices which we are using all contains the microcontroller, and microcontroller can move with only zeros and ones. So it is converted to a microcontroller. So this completely gives the data from analog to, it goes to the microcontroller. So signal conditioning is widely used in the world of data acquisition. The most common transducers produce an output in the form of voltage, current, charge, capacitance. It will be in this form. So we need to convert these signals to voltage in order to send it to analog to digital conversion. This conversion is commonly called signal conditioning. Signal conditioning can be current to voltage conversion or signal amplification. It can be anything. So the thermistor example is thermistor. Thermistor is one of the transducer. What it will do? It will change the resistance with temperature. As temperature changes, the resistance will change. So if you measure the resistance, you will come to know what is the temperature. The change of resistance must be translated into voltages in order to be any use to an ADC. So this is about the signal conditioning sensors that are used. So we have LM34 and LM35 temperature sensors that are used to measure. Okay, so this is all about ADC DAC. Okay, thank you.